Excuse me. I happen to be passing, and I thought you might like some coffee.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. I want you to sit down.
Thank you. Cream?
No, thank you. I take it black. Like my man.
Joey, we have something here for our special visitors. Would you like to have it?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Sure. You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked? Joey, you ever hang around the gymnasium? You like movies about gladiators?
You like movies about gladiators, Clint?
I love movies about gladiators, Michael. Oh, you got to take our big giant cartoon off.
Okay.
It's just us looking cartoony.
No big deal.
Hey, there we are.
Yep. Part 2, everybody. Part 2.
Sometimes you got to do part 2. Sometimes the first one was great, but you need a sequel.
We took a little break right there, and we're back. We're talking about Airplane. Lots of wacky material out there for the pilot, you know, because it gets lonely. I've seen the movie with Denzel. Is that what's that called? Just plane, airplane. Where he's got the girl from my Name is Earl, and then she's naked. You see the vagina.
Oh, Jamie Lee Presley?
No, the other one, the Latin.
Oh,
you see the stewardess. They're on cocaine.
Yeah, she was on Major Crimes. I liked her.
You can see a Virginia.
What?
Virginia, like
what movie?
Not up here, but
what movie is that?
It's an airplane movie with Denzel. He plays a cocaine addicted alcoholic.
I thought he was a train conductor in that movie.
Either way, he's going to save the day.
Wasn't he a train conductor in that movie?
No, that's the one about that runaway train.
But he wasn't on cocaine then?
I don't know when he's on and when he's not on.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. Denzel Washington, the best fucking actor ever.
And he could do a string of like 3 shitty movies and nobody cares. Like he'll just do another awesome movie after that.
Froggy Fresh wrote a song about him, and there is apparently someone, a friend of mine told me there's a podcast called Denzel Washington is the best actor ever. We're getting live as we speak fan feedback. Thank you, Bobby Joe. You are our lifesaver, and she has given the thumbs up. This is much better than it was. So,
but I'm a big fan of the Vector Roger.
You're not going to be a big fan of Bobby Joe?
Clarence. Yes, I'm a big fan of Bobby Joe.
She's saving your ass tonight.
All the steps.
She's saving your bacon. Motherfucker Jones ain't saving your bacon.
We do hope to have her back on the show very soon.
Yeah, it's been too long.
There's lots of off-color jokes. There's a little bit of boobs in here. There's some boob jiggling. There's some actually naked boobs.
Can we talk? Can we go back real quick? Do you think we blame Bobby Joe for the drunken Christmas episode? Do you think that's why she hasn't been back? I mean, she's not listening. It's between you and me.
All right.
Did we improperly blame her?
I didn't think it was a good episode. I didn't think it was a bad episode. I thought it was just an episode. I enjoyed myself. I'm like, if we're gonna do this podcast, I'm gonna have fun.
Did you remember anything about that episode?
I remember hanging out on Mike's couch for like 3 hours trying to sober up before I could drive to my parents' house.
I was told, I've never watched it, as with most of our episodes, because I think they're shit. I told Michael H to suck my dick. Or I think I forced him to, I don't know. I don't blame you, Bobby Joe. Not your fault.
Is it? I think we urinated together during the show.
Why are we going to talk about this again?
Okay.
When you look in someone's eyes, you say, we're never going to talk about this.
There's other stuff we're not supposed to talk about. What stuff that we're not supposed to talk about can we not talk about, and other stuff we can talk about, Glenn?
We need a list.
All right.
So they direct a plane into the airport. We thought that was the end. We were wrong. It was the beginning. The captain's looking at Modern Spurn magazine. He gets a phone call. There's a sick girl who's going to be on his plane. She needs to be in Minneapolis in 6 hours, gets a heart attack. He's got it. Hammond 5. Hold the mail.
Heart just flying all over the place. Just flying, beating throughout the air.
We have Roger. Oh, yeah, that's right. So once again, people, the jokes come quick in this episode. Not our episode, the airline movie. Airplane. Airline was a reality TV show on A&E about the Southwestern Airline people. I own season 1 on DVD. Why? Because I got drunk and bought it for $2 on Amazon. Continue.
It's just so easy to buy those things sometimes. Just click.
$2.
Just add it to the list. I'm already spending $50.
I got Hunter for $1.
I got Prime.
Hunter.
I got Prime. Hunter's a good show. I think when my dad's in the folks home, that's the show that's going to be on. Instead of Rockford Files, it's going to be
98% of Hunter's problems would have been solved by the invention of a cell phone. So, so you were talking about, we meet Roger Murdoch. That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We meet Clarence. He's the captain.
Captain, and then you've got Victor. Was
Victor gay?
I don't know.
I think Victor was gay.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you got a kind of job where you could fly all over the world. I'm sure you can have whatever kind of lifestyle you want, Glenn.
So we're going to start meeting some of the passengers. We got the Jive Talkers.
You got the Jive Talkers. You got the nun. You got the little boy. He's never flown before.
We got the old lady sitting on the plane next to what is our friend's name? What's the star of this movie? Why can't I find his name?
The main guy. Ted Stryker.
Ted Stryker.
Okay.
So most of this movie was based off of different movies from the 50s and 70s.
Yeah.
This is just a parody movie off of obscure movies that most people didn't see. But the Zucker brothers, right?
Yes.
And who's the other guy? Abrams.
Jim Abrams.
This was their first really forte into this sort of thing. Well, they did Country Fried Movie, right?
Yeah, and it was more like a collection of just skits.
Right. I remember Country Fried Movie. Did you ever watch that?
Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried
and then Police Squad, and then the Top Secret later on. But
Police Squad was later too.
Their own movie together, and then they ended up breaking up after this.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk about Police Squad a lot here coming up because there's a lot of integral parts of this movie that led to that. So we have Elaine and Ted.
They're just a couple trying to work things out, Glenn.
Ted is probably suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, but in the 1980, they didn't know what that was. And this is also a comedy, so who cares? Elaine is a stewardess who wants her boyfriend Ted to be a winner at life, but he's just a loser, just a cab driver. He's the type of guy who would pick up a fare, leave him at the curb, and fly to Chicago to get a woman and never come back to get his fare. That's the kind of guy he is. So this plane is leaving LA. We know it's got to get to Chicago. We know this girl's got to get her heart transplant 6 hours in Minneapolis. We know her heart's jumping all over a thing. So Ted, he's gonna start our first flashback of the movie, of which there are many. He starts telling the nice, sweet old lady next to him all about Elaine and how they met. It was a rough and tumble bar in a war-torn wherever.
It's a flashback to Drambuie. It's worse than Detroit, Glenn.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's pretty bad. Little did they foreshadow how bad Detroit would be.
They do this Saturday Night Live Fever spoof, and then once again, in Ted, the movie with Mark Wahlberg, they also do the spoof to this as well.
Real quick, I posted on my personal Facebook page. Some of our listeners have friended me, and I have accepted their friend requests. And I know you and I are friends, but I doubt you read this song because you're not a Facebook guy. On Monday, I posted some reading material in between Black Hawk periods. It is a very interesting story about the history of the Silverdome, the Pontiac Silverdome, since it was sold.
Mm-hmm.
You should check it out. It's pretty awesome.
The Detroit, the original Tiger Stadium too, when they moved to their new stadium, their old one they just let sit.
Well, they tore it down.
Okay.
But that's a parking lot.
Yes.
Across the street from the new one. But I've really got into something called stadium porn recently.
Okay.
There's a guy 2 weeks ago who
I want to see it tear it down. Yeah. Blow it up.
There's a guy 2 weeks ago who hopped the fence of Candlestick Park that's just sitting there, rotting. And he found a bunch of old bills from the addressed to the San Francisco Giants who haven't played there since '97. So that was really interesting. And then I found the Silverdome one. It was just last week. A guy was able to get in there. And then there was one, a guy who broke into the new Minnesota Stadium 2 days ago and climbed the pole. It's very interesting. I'm really getting into stadium porn about what happens to these old abandoned stadiums.
Okay. Yeah. But what I was saying before is it took 5 years for them to tear down the old Detroit stadium, so it was just sitting there abandoned. So I guess these other, cities, man, they're trying to make money, and then they sign these deals, and then all of a sudden they're stuck with this dead real estate, and no one wants to use it.
which is why a city should never sign a deal for a stadium. But anyway, let's go back to the Elaine disco dancing.
Yes.
She's doing the disco dancing in the club. We got Girl Scouts fighting. He John Travolta's her, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he sweeps her off her feet. They're both fantastic dancers. They're both young, virile people. They've got parts that go together. I think so.
Yeah, So they dance. There's some funny shit. They do the whole Saturday Night Fever thing.
Yes.
They throw it out.
The whole spoof. It's pretty good.
Spoof. They didn't shortcut you on the spoof. So the lady, while he's telling the story, they flash back to him. The poor, nice old lady next to him, she hangs herself.
She can't take it anymore.
But earlier, she commented on all of Elaine's subtle features.
She's got a nice hind end. She's a nice lady. Obviously, she's probably a good cook.
So, then Elaine has a flashback of them making love on a beach. Just kind of stereotypical, scene.
The From Here to Eternity scene.
And then we get to, I think, one of the most memorable parts of this movie, little Joey in the cockpit. Now, this was all ad-libbed, right? So this was not, this was all ad-libbed. You got a little boy named Joey. He's going to visit the cockpit. What's the first line that we hear with Joey from our captain?
You ever been naked around men before, or what was it?
Yeah. You ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah. I've started doing this with the new people at work. I try to quote this. I mean, partially to see if they freak out because of the gayness, and partially to see if they understand Airplane. Because if you like Airplane, then I'm going to like you, and if you don't, then you don't. There's other. You go and meet other people from different departments, and they'll like sexually assault other dudes. They'll like grab people in the dick and just not do cool things, just to see what I'm like. Okay, well, what can my thing be? And be like,
let's talk about that.
You like gladiator movies? How do you feel about being naked around a bunch of dudes?
You work in a profession that is a manly man thing, but tends to me to be over the top manly, where guys have so much testosterone they like grab each other's junk.
Yeah, a lot of people's nicknames are around their package. There's a guy. His name's Zucchini.
Is he black?
No.
Not in Galesburg. What is your nickname?
Big Red. Just saying. No big deal.
So little Joey looks.
Also, James Bond. They're looking at maybe the Ginger Man to be James Bond. We'll see.
I listened to James Bonding, a James Bond podcast today, and they said that Daniel Craig has 2 movies left.
Okay.
There's no way that they're already looking at someone.
All
They
right.
dispelled that rumor.
Okay.
So there's another little Joey joke where he's telling Kareem that he's Kareem even though he's not Kareem. What's his name in this movie?
Roger Murdoch.
Roger Murdoch. And then he starts really getting on Kareem about his playoff performance. And then Kareem kind of snaps at him, which I thought was hilarious. Come on, kid. You get in the playoffs. You're trying to carry these such. Yeah.
Walton up and down the court. He's been hearing that shit since UCLA.
This is our second Kareem movie. Do you remember the first?
I don't know. What was the other Kareem one?
To Beverly Hills, what a thrill. Beverly Hills, what a thrill. Beverly. So, back to the movie. Joey, do you like movies about gladiators? You mentioned that. There's another one saying in the movie that says, Joey, so is this your first time in a cockpit? But in reality, what he actually said was, Joey, have you ever seen a grown man's cock? But it was actually deemed too offensive, so they dubbed in cockpit later. But in the first run of the movie, he says, Joey, have you ever seen a grown man's cock?
Poor kid.
Poor kid.
I think it was definitely the anti-establishment kind of humor at that time. I remember my dad really liked this movie. I assume your dad probably liked this movie too.
Yeah, he did. So what is it about this movie for the time? Okay, so you had Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm.
That was Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, and then also Sid Caesar. Both of them worked on shows, and they also like that was their thing, was just to run up stuff, just to find something funny, throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. Is it funny? And then run something up the wall. No matter how professional, no matter how serious something is, it can be made fun of. And
right. So they kind of invented the shotgun approach to movies like this. I remember my grandpa and my dad watching Blazing Saddles over and over again when I was just too little to know what it was, but I just remember it being Blazing Saddles. And then when this movie came out, it came out in 80. Like my parents' first date was Young Frankenstein. So they obviously, you know, they had a similar sense of humor.
Dean.
But this movie was the first of, you know, basically what I consider the Zucker brothers, the Farley brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're all brothers, but a whole different genre. I guess basically Leslie Nielsen's career, which is odd because at this point he was a very serious actor. But spoofs. And I think that spoofs have gone by the wayside because I think there were so many shitty ones in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
The last good spoof I remember was Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I liked High School High also.
I never watched that one, but was that a spoof really?
Yeah. It
Okay.
It ran up all the stupid the urban high school movies, and then the other high school one was more about the current 80s throwback high school movies.
I think this movie gets so much love because it was original at the time. This is one of the first spoofs of movies.
Yeah, and I mean, Mel Brooks was doing it for forever, but I mean, this was their flavor. This had more dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, this is raunchy spoof.
Yeah.
And it was rapid fire. Bam, 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 bam. Everything was rapid fire. They'd throw so many jokes at you that, like I said earlier, if you only laughed at half of them, you were good. We'll kind of gloss over some of this because I know we've been talking for a while, and not that this movie doesn't deserve it. Our hero in this movie, Roger, right? Roger?
Ted Stryker.
Ted Stryker. No, it's not Ed Stryker.
Ted Stryker.
What are you saying?
Ted. Like the bear. Ted.
It's not Ed.
Ted. Like the bear.
Head Stryker.
Okay.
Well, our friend Bill Kirchenbauer is in this movie.
Yes, I saw that. He was when he was going through his PTSD, and there was he was working on some art, trying to figure out his way back into real life in the hospital there. After he has the plane accident in the military, Mr. Kirchenbauer, he's one of the patients also in the hospital.
Yeah.
I thought I'm like, I know that guy because I do know that guy.
Yeah, and Bill posts this picture from this movie all the time, and I had no idea it was from this movie. I've seen him before in this movie, and I think we even talked about it in this podcast, but the picture he shows, like, I had no idea. I'm like, oh, he constantly is posting that movie. This picture. He's on a night court kick now with John Larroquette, where he posts pictures of him and John Larroquette. It's fine. Friend of mine.
This guy is one of the guys who happens to be one of the people with the hair. What the hell are they called? The Hare Krishnas.
Yes.
Was he in?
That's the Isuzu from Empty Nest.
I was gonna say he was in Empty Nest, and he might be like the poor man's John LaRoquette.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a couple. We have the stewardess who steals the guitar from the nun to sing a song.
Her name's Randy.
She ends up basically killing the heart transplant girl. That was pretty awesome. Flashback: Elaine and Ted joined the Peace Corps in Africa. Ted teaches them how to play basketball.
Just little fundamentals. Here's how you pass. Here, I mean, this is make sure you.
Didn't you teach European kids how to play baseball?
Yeah, we worked on wiffle ball.
Where at? What country?
In Romania.
So you taught Romanian. So one day, any year now, there's gonna be this Romanian superstar who comes up in the international draft, and you're gonna be the guy who taught him.
There's all those little kids on YouTube that are throwing like 100-mile-an-hour wiffle balls or whatever. Maybe I'll have one of those kids that shows like a new pitch with their wiffle ball.
So
I literally went to the store, loaded up with like 4 bats and like 12 or 16 wiffle balls. I'm like, all right, this bag will carry wiffle ball bats. All right, we're ready to go.
They had those just sitting around in Romania?
No. I mean, I brought them from America. Like when I'm packing my bag.
You shipped those from America.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love you. So, The joke here is that every time Ted tells a story, the person he's telling it to commits suicide. Next guy commits Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Or Harry Carey, not Hare Krishna.
Edgar Poe Wong, James Hong, Lopan from Big Trouble in Little China. He sits next to Ted. He can't take it anymore.
Now we're starting to get sick women. A sick woman. She's got eggs coming out of her mouth. We need a doctor. Of course, it's going to be Frank Drebin. I mean, whatever his name is in this movie.
Drebin.
What was that?
Frank Drebin.
That's not his name in the movie.
Okay, whatever his name is.
I called him Frank Drebin. I thought you had the answer.
The doctor, whatever.
Victor passes out in the cockpit. Roger takes over. Roger passes out. The pilot passes out. We have our first autopilot joke of the show. We got the inflatable autopilot.
You got to blow him up.
They
went out of the way to make sure he had a personality. His head went 360 degrees. His eyes moved. He smiled.
Inflatable autopilot. Now, the great part about this is this autopilot sat in Jim Abrams' garage for years until it disintegrated. Like, he went to get it one day, and it was just, like, disintegrated.
Gone
like,
now.
I have a bunch of shit in my garage. I'd love to go and, like, look for the plot, the thing from Airplane.
Yeah.
And it'd just not be there. So now we have an epidemic. Everyone who ate the fish is going to get sick. We got the woman who questions every time her husband does something different.
Well, all I could think about is like, what if these scenes were done today? It would be very Fairly Brothers. Like there'd be people vomiting and pooping.
It'd be poop, lots of poop.
There'd be poop all over this airplane.
Then all of a sudden, randomly, for 3 seconds, titties.
Just
no explanation.
Like there's jiggle titties in clothing.
You know why I didn't like those titties? Because my son was sitting there hiding his eyes. Like, automatically, he went to the hide position. And I'm like, there was no purpose for those titties. I'm sure, like, 15 years ago, I was like, look at those titties, 3 seconds. But those 3 seconds were like an eternity because I look over and Jake immediately hides his eyes. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
Okay.
So, we got...
do you think he's got a stash of porn around the house, or do you think he's just doing digital?
He's not there yet.
All right.
Oh, we got to play at the plate.
Maybe then we can talk about
it.
Stuff.
Might be challenged. Anyway, so then we have the... I only bring this up because the whole time they're talking to the ground, right?
Yeah.
And they want to bring in the ace pilot. So they call in a guy. We don't know who he is. He was safe. We don't know who the guy they call in is. It's going to end up being Robert Stack.
Captain Kramer.
And they show him driving there. And they're making fun of the bounce.
He hits one of his neighbors like, I don't even like that guy anyway.
But he's driving with the traditional bad 50s green screen behind him. And Jake, at this point, goes, the joke is that that's the worst green screen ever? And I'm like, yes, Jake.
Or rip projection, yeah.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to find the funny. Like, I give him credit for trying to find the funny, but he just couldn't accept it.
Funny? Okay, I get it.
So, we need to... The doctor asks for if there's anyone who can fly the plane. Panic happens.
Well, the panic doesn't happen until Elaine actually says stuff. And it's like, does anyone know how to fly a plane?
Because she tells Ted he can't fly. Leslie Nielsen says, you can fly the plane. She tells Ted no. There's the joke throughout the wrong way. I picked the wrong week to quit. ...
Drinking, sniffing glue, all kinds of stuff.
Stone Cold and Stone Cold's podcast, about every 2 weeks, makes the quote, I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines. And I never knew where that quote was from until I was like, last time I was like, oh, yes, duh. Picked the wrong week to quit smoking, drinking, sniffing glue, amphetamines, blah, blah. What was the other joke? What's a hospital?
It's a building. There's windows,
but that's not important.
Yeah.
What's and so you just insert, and then always that's not important.
Well, I felt like there. I mean, if you say the joke once, it's okay, haha, funny. You say the joke twice, you're like, that's stupid. Why are they? If you say it like 3, 4, 5 times,
the power of repetition. Then you just get
back around. You're like, I can't believe they're still doing this. And then you're either on board with that or you're not. So it was pretty cool.
Barbara Billingsley is the only one who can translate what the jive speakers say. She was
The
mom
beaver,
in
the
Leave It to
beaver's
Beaver.
mom, and then they don't even want her to translate for them. They're like,
Reminds me of the great movie Pootie Tang, directed by Louis C.K. I used to watch that movie once a week, and I thought it was the greatest movie ever.
"Oh,
And
he
since I
directed it. Did he? He didn't write it though. Was he
no,
one
I
of?
think he wrote it.
Oh my god! I think
That was his sketch on the Chris Rock show.
Oh my god, that was. It is horrible, horrible movie, but it is amazing. It
So
is.
someone stole my copy at a house party I threw in like 2000. But or maybe I could be wrong on the year because someone's gonna be like, "Well, it didn't come out to 2001. Maybe it was 2002. I don't know." But I watched that movie fucking all the time and loved it. And then when it disappeared, I also quit smoking pot, and then I was like, I don't need that movie.
It's all right. It's not
But
that.
I used to watch it every weekend, and I thought it was the greatest movie ever. Sarate.
Sadate, man.
So, the head pilot's wife, she's fucking a horse. That's fine. Didn't have to explain that to
No,
myself.
it's like you need to go. Use the back door.
The press gets involved. Would you like whiskey? I don't know what that means. That's apparently a line from the movie.
But it feels like the movie kind of gets hijacked a little bit.
Oh, I know what that means.
By
Never mind.
kind of gets hijacked. I mean, once we bring Robert Stack in and he beats the hell out of the people in his hero mode, all the people that give a shit about random shit at the airport, he beats the hell out of them. But when they get to the control room, the movie kind of gets hijacked by the effeminate
Yeah.
there. Like everything he says is amazing. It's fantastic.
Yeah. They did that on purpose, obviously. Obviously, there was a stigma at this time about being gay.
It's big
So
and it's white. It looks like a Tylenol.
They made the third act basically from the perspective of a gay dude, which was awesome in 1980. Like, everyone just dismissed him as like, the fairy, the queer. But, like, how awesome is that they did that?
I thought it was great. I mean, especially it gives them power, even though you're kind of making fun of them a little bit. I mean, you're putting them on screen. You're giving them
Absolutely, and I totally think it was an homage. By the way, Anthony Rizzo just went into the crowd and stole a little kid's peanuts, and then he gave them back. I wrote down, "Would you like a whiskey?" And I remember this scene because they're going down. This guy's down in whiskey.
Got my dillies on the pepper tank.
He looks at this woman and he says, "Do you want whiskey?" And she goes, "Oh heavens, no!" And then she snorts blow. And then Jake's like, "Dad, she's doing drugs."
and then she does like a little like Tinkerbell thing with her nose, like with her nostrils.
Well, you gotta do that to make sure you get all. I mean, so the press get involved. The nuns start singing respect.
Airplane crashes, everyone dies.
Yeah, so basically now the joke is kind of on the mass media of 1980, which is nothing compared to the 24-hour media cycle of today, where they have the spinning ahead newspapers, the newscasts. The plane's going to crash and kill everyone because no one has faith in. We've really downplayed the story, but I don't think the story is what's important in this movie.
Even though Snoop Dogg did his airplane movie, I think they could do another in the bottle kind of movie like this. I
don't think so.
You don't think so? No, they wouldn't make Airplane 2? You don't think so?
Well, they did make Airplane 2, but 9/11 ruined all of this.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. And there's
no. Didn't they just do a test about the security and like 86% of the stuff that they were trying to sneak?
Hey. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The government did everything anyway. So you brought it up. I did.
I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying is that now there's like all this heightened security. Something like this would never fly.
Okay.
Because you would be like, there's no way that they could get coke on an airplane. You gotta have it upper vajay. I mean, I'm just saying. So, the singing nun, she sings respect to the jive talkers. He sweats profusely because he's got a drinking problem.
Well,
he lands the plane.
My brother. What a tie.
Sorry.
I love that we're morning zoo. Where's my fart noises? He lands the plane safely. The wheels fall off. Everyone hugs. That's it. That's your movie.
That's pretty much it.
There's no way we could do this movie justice. We just kind of want to talk about it and fuck around. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I think. Well, after this, we've got the Naked Gun movies.
So let's talk about that real quick, because we're gonna do those at some point.
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen is a serious actor. We barely gave him credit in this movie.
Nonsense.
We barely gave him the credit in this movie that he deserves because we were just kind of high overview because, like I said in the beginning, we can't detail all the jokes. Leslie Nielsen, surprised he got cast in this role. Gets the role. Great job. Zucker brothers fall in love with him. But I don't know if they did anything with him until, Police Files wasn't until the late 80s. Because Police Files was a TV show at first.
Yeah.
Summertime TV show. I think they only did 6 or 10 episodes. Didn't work out. Put it on, they did the first movie, Naked Gun, and it just flew. And then from there, he was just
the best part to me, though, is they did Naked.
Nice. Beaver.
Yeah, they did three movies of that. And then they had the Loaded Weapon movie, which was almost a spoof of that.
They did Loaded Weapon?
Well, no, I don't think they did it, but
oh, okay.
They also were like, well, let's do another. They had the National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon with Sam Jackson, and Emilio Estevez.
Yeah. Well, they made spoofing good. This movie was the generation defining of spoofing, and they did a good job.
I think the spoofs are probably dead for a while, but I think somebody can come back and make a good one again.
I would love to do another teen movie since it's all about the 80s sometime. I think that's a movie we could do, and I love that movie. So that's something we'll do in the future. Spoofs are tough to review because they hit you quick and fast. But we just felt we should do this just to give it justice. Anything else about Airplane before I wrap this up with my final thoughts?
I
haven't felt this awful since we saw that Ronald Reagan film.
Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now. Tell the captain I must speak to him.
Certainly.
Looks like I picked the wrong week for smoking.
Oh my God, the automatic pilot, it's deflating!
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Johnny, what do you make out of this?
This? What, a cap? Or a brooch? A pterodactyl?
Looks like I picked the wrong week. Quit amphetamines. Passenger certain to die. Airline negligent.
There's a sale at Penny's.
There's a sale at Penny's, Glenn.
That was did you put that together?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome because that covered everything. That was awesome. Good job. Orange is the New Black came out last Thursday, actually, a day early. But how far are you?
I'm still halfway through. It's so hard because you want. I haven't finished season 2 yet. Just because you're like, okay, because you watch it with your wife and you're like, she's not home, and then you watch an episode and then she watch it. Maybe we're both all the way through season 2, and both of us.
You probably are, and you're lying to each other.
Neither of us are honest with each other. That could be.
Me and my wife, we finished season 3.
It's a good show because you can actually watch it with your wife.
We finished it in 23 hours.
Awesome.
13 and a half hours long. We were pretty proud of that. This season completely different than every other season.
I saw some stuff with some music. Do they have a musical scene?
No.
Okay, maybe it's just an advertisement.
Yeah. We decided that we wanted to try to watch it as fast as possible. Some people are trying to savor the moment. That's not what we're doing. But this season is completely different from season 2. Season 2 is a big bad. Season 2 is very intense. Season 3, very light and fluffy. I won't give any spoilers. I loved every episode of it. They're different. They're different than what we've seen. And people are kind of freaking out about that. And so I want to talk to people who are freaking out about it. And if you haven't watched it yet, take this advice as you're watching. Genji Cohen, who created and writes this series, created Weeds and wrote Weeds. Weeds, in 8 years, reinvented the entire plotline 4 separate times. Amazing. And every time I was about to be done with it, it got good. Dexter is another series I loved. And Dexter, in its 4th season, had the ultimate big bad. Our hometown mentioned twice in the finale.
With John Malkovich?
Yes. John Lithgow. Yes. And Dexter never recovered from it because they could never top it, but they tried. and this is my feeling on what Weeds is doing. Jinji Cohen is a genius at reinventing a show. Because like I said, Weeds could have been done after season 3, season 5, season 7, and season 8. It was when she ultimately ended it. And every time I'd be 2 or 3 episodes into the season, I'm like, I'm done. She'd hook you because she's so good at writing something that gets you so far, and then you become enthralled in it. And that's what I think she's doing with Weeds, or with Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
And Dexter proved you can't follow up a great big bad season where you have the big bad wolf who's coming out to get you with another one back to back, because if it doesn't stand the test, your series is done.
Yeah.
Dexter never recovered after their great season 4, which is a shame because I love Dexter and I watched it all the way through. But they were always trying to top it. And sometimes you don't need to top what you did. You just need to build to the next thing that you do. And I think that's what this season is. It's kind of unfortunate because it's a binge watching type show. And in modern day binge watching, people want the delivery fast as furious. So I give her a lot of credit for not succumbing to that. She built a great season 3. I love season 3, but it doesn't have the intensity of season 2. And some people see that as a negative. I see it as great because she realizes I don't have to try to beat something I've already done. I just have to build to the next thing. And that's very tough to do in the social media world where people want fast, best, now. So much credit to season 3 of Orange is the New Black. It's not honestly, it might be my favorite season because of all the things I just said. And it's light, it's fluffy, and I love the characters, and no one can build a character on TV like Jinji Cohen. All right, that's my rant.
Well, good. I'm glad you liked it. I finished watching Game of Thrones with the lady baby. I think I was backlogged on 3 episodes. We watched that together.
No spoilers because some people listen to the show.
And then we watched Airplane together.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love the lady baby. Well, I think we've talked a lot tonight.
It's good.
I think it was good. If nothing else for us, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it out there. But if you didn't, well, I'm sorry. Buy a T-shirt.
Not the best, not the worst, but I hope you do love it.
T-shirt.
Please do reach out to us on the FaceSpace, and we do appreciate all the interaction there on Facebook. We try to. My brother just went to. He was in Jacksonville, Florida, but he ended up going to St. Augustine. And he went to their this museum for pirates, and they had this entire One-Eyed Willie exhibit from the Goonies. And my brother took a bunch of pictures of it and I put it on the Facebook.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Please leave us a review on iTunes. 5 stars.
And 5 stars every time. And Glenn, he's on the Twitter, so.
Yeah, we're on the Twitter. Oh, poor Starling Cat. Oh, Starling Cat, that could be bad. We'll talk about it off the air.
Okay, that's fine. Well, once again, this is Michael.
This is Lawrence.
Stay awesome.
Stay awesome, everybody.
Man, game over, man. Game over.
Let's get out of here! Like now!
Oh, Mr. Hyde. Au revoir. Au revoir, baby. Au revoir, Simone.
Yep. I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
It's Miller time. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
Yeah, it's called Sign Your Pity on the Runny Kind.